Love getting my guitar advice from a sound guy learning to play guitar on a YouTube channel.
Wow, hey bud, you know what? That's a wonderful observation. However, maybe you're looking at things maybe from the wrong perspective. How about this? How about you're getting guitar recording advice from a guy who's spent nearly 3 decades learning how to record guitar and already made the mistakes so you don't have to. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to SMG Viewers Comments, the show that's about you, not about me. I'm going to try and answer your comments and questions to the best of my ability, so let's cut the crap and get right to it.
Well, you've just saved me a lot of money that I can now spend on some new cabinets. Thanks.
And that's the whole point of the show, saving you guys money. I'm trying to help you guys and show you guys what's really making the big changes in your guitar sound so you can concentrate on that and hopefully get the results you're going to be after. Fortunately, you know, new guitar cabinets, there's some good choices out there for not a whole crap ton of money. Now, you can certainly spend an awful lot of money on new cabinets. Look at this, $14.99 for a Mesa 4x12. That's absolutely fucking bananas. However, you know, you can go check out Zilla Cabs. They'll custom build you something if you're like in the EU or England or something like that. And they're considerably more reasonably priced. Of course, one of my absolute favorite choices would be the Harley Benton 2x12 Vintage. And you can pick that up at Thomann for, let's see what we got here, $249 US. Now, those are using the Chinese vintage 30s. And as we've shown on the show, that the Chinese-made vintage 30s that have come out in the last couple of years are nothing short of spectacular. And that's the great thing. It doesn't just stop with vintage 30s. You know, you can explore all kinds of different tone options just by trying different kinds of speakers. I mean, like some of my favorites as of late have been the Hezu Demons and, you know, the Celestion EVHs, which are kind of like their attempt to recreate the sound of the greenbacks from the 60s, which they really don't sound like, but they still sound pretty damn cool nonetheless. And that's just Celestion, you know, that's not even counting companies like Eminence and WGS and Jensen. There's so many great speaker manufacturers out there. There were a couple I saw at NAMM last year. I still want to see if I can get a chance to do a video with those guys. Hopefully we're going to make that happen because I really want to try some of the different brands out there, see what's going on. I've got an old Carvin sitting in the next room that I've never even hooked up yet. I mean, like, I've got no idea what that's going to sound like. Fingers crossed that it sounds cool, though. We'll see. The great thing is it's going to give me far greater results than swapping out pickups. That's for sure.
I've built probably a dozen guitars over the years, and you illustrated what I've pretty much known all along, and that's that pickup type and position are way more important than what kind of magnets are in it or what famous player endorses them. If I had a nickel for every time someone asked me to swap out their perfectly good pickups for the new hotness, well, I guess I do. And often I just get to keep the old stock pickups that I put to use in my own projects. However, I was blown away by how much the mic placement changed things. Wow.
Yeah, that's the obvious thing. If you're not happy with the sound you're getting, move the mic. I mean, like, case in point here. Here's my voice here. I'm going to move the mic way over here. And I'm going to move the mic over here. Did the sound change? Why, yes, it did. That's because cardioid mics are positional by nature and have something called proximity effect. See, when we're up close like this, we get that nice deep tone. We put it off camera there, and there's a little bit of distance between me and the mic, and it sounds kind of different. And the same thing applies to guitar cabinets, because guess what? We're working within the laws of physics. So yeah, if you're not happy with your guitar sound, look at what type of speakers you're using, and then try moving your mic around. And if you're in the market, and if you really want to get into moving mics and see just how much of a difference it makes, I highly recommend checking out one of these. This is the Dynamount. I've been using them for years. They're absolutely fantastic. They're just perfect. They're probably the most important tool for dialing in great guitar tone. And I've got the new version here. It works really great. It's a lot less kludgy than the original was. And I really need to do a demo on it because I'm seriously overdoing it. But yeah, it's a seriously amazing piece of gear.
Please, sir, goggles and science coat for the science videos, please, sir.
Well, that might be fun. What do you think, guys? Should I get a lab coat for the science videos? You tell me. If I get enough comments asking for the lab coat, I will definitely make that happen.
Nothing more boring than someone demoing a guitar or amp by playing a snooze-fest blues run. After that, you can excitedly tell me about how you recently refinanced your house.
Christopher, that's all too true, unfortunately. Hey guys, real quick, just want to give you a heads up. We've got a flash sale going on right now on the ultimate course for recording heavy metal guitar tone at home, and that is Guitar Tone Mastery. Now, this course has had a massive update in the last year. Scott's added in a bunch of new information about recording real amps, and the base price for this course is normally $198, but this weekend we're having a flash sale, and it's going to go for only $129, and that's going to be on on sale till end of day Sunday. So if you want to get your hands on the best course ever on how to record metal guitars at home and get the kind of guitar sounds you've been dreaming about, get Guitar Tone Mastery today because it's only going to be on sale for a couple more days. Now back to the show.
People today are so obsessed about being right. Very sad. I personally don't agree with anything you say, and I don't have any scientific proof. What I do know for a fact is that my tone wood guitars and valve amps make me very happy and sound amazing. What you're doing is basically telling kids that Santa Claus doesn't exist. Whatever happened to just playing and having fun?
There's no Santa Claus! No! Yeah, you don't have any scientific proof. You know why? Because your assumptions are pulled out of your ass, and when you put things to the test, they fall to pieces. It's like religion, it falls to pieces when you start asking questions. Same fucking thing going on here. Your tone wood is bullshit. The tubes, bullshit as well. Tube, you either have tubes or you don't. You swap them around, you're not going to get any shifts in frequency. That's the sad reality of the situation. You know what? If it makes you happy, that's great. Now go take a look at a bill for how much money you dropped on all that gear and keep telling yourself it was worth it. Here's the thing, you might have money to piss away, that's absolutely fine, no judgment there. But I know a lot of kids out there don't have that kind of money to spend and want to make good choices so they can get the sounds they're after without wasting their money. And they work really fucking hard for that money, because I should know, because I did the exact same fucking thing. So I'm not looking out for the middle-aged tone snob guy who's got way too much money in the bank and not enough brains to know what the hell he's doing with. No. I'm looking out for the younger guys who don't have a lot of money, who are busy doing the 8, 10, and 12-hour shifts 4, 5, and 6 days a week, sometimes 7 a week, who don't have time to fuck around and don't have a lot of money to waste and don't want to get ripped off. You got a problem with that? Too fucking bad. And yeah, for the record, there is no fucking Santa Claus. Here's the thing, I used to love Christmas right up until the point I found out there was no Santa Claus and I found out it was all a lie. And here's the thing, I would never, ever tell a kid a lie like that. You might think it's okay, I think it's just fucking unethical.
You should make a video showing out the differences between active and passive pickups, particularly EMGs. I've seen some complaints online that they sound overly compressed compared to passives, and I think it sounds like bullshit. Maybe one of your tests would put that shit to rest.
Watch last week's video where I shot out 10 guitars back to back. We had actives, we had passives. Turns out the tone variations were about that much. But EMGs sound compressed. You know, I love it when people hit me with that, well, it sounds compressed. I'm like, well, what exactly does that mean? Could you please put that in words, what sounds compressed actually means? Usually you wind up getting silence.
If swapping pickups doesn't change the sound of the guitar, what is the point of a guitar with swappable pickups?
That's a damn good question. I'll let you know if I ever find an answer to that.
Glenn, my friend watches your videos religiously and saw your video about pickups from a few days ago. Today, I was talking to him about the bang for the buck Yamaha Pacifica 612. It has Grover locking tuners, a Wilkinson tremolo, and some Seymour Duncan pickups. Whenever I mention it, he says it's not worth it because of the pickups, just because they were probably made in the same factory as some cheap Chinese pickups. Anyway, so they are the same. Help me.
Hey, Mab Studios, I definitely recommend your guitar player watch my pickup swap video and the video I did last week there where I changed out the 10 different guitars. If you're playing with any kind of gain on your signal, guess what? It doesn't fucking matter! Okay, if it's got cheap Chinese pickups, then good! Because it's gonna sound the same as expensive pickups. As long as they're not feeding back or noisy, you are fucking good to go. Stop worrying about your pickups, stop worrying about what's going in your amp, and worry more about what's coming out of it.
Hey Glenn, you remember a long time ago when you destroyed a Line 6 Spider? Could you have saved it if you ran it through a different cab? LOL.
Maybe. The problem I had with the Spider was you couldn't run it into a different cab. That's the big fucking problem. That's one of the reasons why it got the hammer, because that model didn't have that option where you could disconnect the internal speaker and hook it into an outside cab. That's why it got the hammer. I mean, like, it probably could have been very easily fixed by running it into a better speaker, but a lot of small amp manufacturers don't give the user that option. That's been one of my biggest gripes with combo amps, is when you don't have that option. Avoid those amps like the fucking plague. Well, that is, unless you don't want good sound.
You know, while I admit a little bit of contention with these snake oil beliefs about guitar tone you've been going after, I do think you're mostly on track and it's been influential. Speakers and cabs, dead on. Tone wood, only Eric Johnson can tell the rest of us are mostly full of shit. Pickups, I disagree vehemently. But Glenn! Typed in all caps for attention. You know, bro, I think a lot of the frequencies we dig are chessboard. You have to be in the room with a lot of this equipment to appreciate the differences musicians have been enjoying. Because the minute you mixed it down and pumped out a different set of speakers, it loses those deep, rounded pools of lows and chiming clarity. You're no longer sitting in front of a Celestion 12-inch speaker. Hell, Metallica use Axe Effects live these days. Tube amps are even being replaced by a huge industry-defining axe. Megadeth is now in the quad cortex. Your EQ measuring device can't appreciate the difference the human ear can when it comes to tubes versus solid state. A musician sitting alone in his room without a band or a mix can appreciate tone, tube swapping, and the like. You are a recording guy, and let's face it, fans of popular music all listen to recorded shit when enjoying their favorite bands. And like I say, even the mighty thrashers of old are all digital now live. These things matter to musicians, but no one else cares.
Okay, you know what? You're half right with that statement. How it sits in a room is absolutely right, but it's not so much of we're actually sitting in a room, it's just we don't have a reference point, and human perception is flawed. Okay, here's a rough guitar. Here's a solar. Obviously, they sound very, very different indeed, even though they're using the same strings and they're tuned to the same thing. And that's got to do with the bridge and probably the wood, because in the acoustic environment, tone wood actually matters. But that wood resonance does not get transferred down the pickups, no matter how many fucking electric guitar builders selling you extremely expensive wood want you to believe. It's fucking nonsense. I will say this, what's in front of us? You're talking about chest resonances. That's very real, but that's not what is coming out of the amplifier. Just remember that. All I can do is record. And it doesn't matter if it's digital or analog, it's the same effect. It's what comes out of the cabinet and into the mic. That's what fucking matters. And that's what your audience is hearing as well. So if you're ever in any doubt, if you're getting anywhere, make before and after recordings, and always, always, always make sure you gain match so you can make effective judgments on sound based on things you can actually verify.
Hi Glenn, this week I saw a video from Warren Hewitt and he said the same. The tone is in the speakers. Can't help but think you guys are both right. You are the experienced guys. Great work, man.
It's not about being right. It's just about helping you guys make the right decision. Once again, I've made the mistakes so you don't have to. This is the thing when it comes to the speaker thing. You can ignore that advice all you want. But if you're not getting the sound you're after, maybe try changing your speaker out. It might just be the thing you're looking for.
So you have a guitar going through a digital simulation of an amplifier with a digital simulation of a speaker cabinet with digital simulations of speakers and digital simulations of mics and positions. You're wondering why you're not hearing too much of a difference. Weren't you complaining that metal albums were all too samey because everyone's just using the same gear, e.g. Helix, Axe effects, etc., and that's why everything sounded the same?
You might have a point, but then again, maybe not. This is the great thing about a lot of those amps is you can mix and match combinations. You don't have to be just stuck with a 57 in front of a vintage 30. That's a great thing about that. There's literally tens of thousands of sounds you can get with that. The problem is people don't like exploring new tones. They want to sound like everybody else. That's the big problem. And this is the thing, an amp sim can have a library of 10,000 different cabinets, but they're not going to be any good to you if you don't fucking try breaking out of the mold, out of what's already established. I've had this argument on my SMG Discord with some of the users. And one guy's, well, I just want to use what's tried and true. And it's like, okay, that's great, but you're not going to stand out either. You're going to be fucking boring. So it's not so much the fault of the technology, it's the fault of the people using that technology. And I said this last week, the amp sims are starting to get really good. And I've been kind of blown away by some of the software stuff coming out as of late. It's getting very, 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 very good. We just have to get over the idea of using the exact same thing as periphery every fucking time we make a recording.
There have been so many channels that I've unsubscribed from because I felt like I've grown out of their content. But this is one channel I always find myself coming back to. Keep doing what you do, Glenn. Cheers. This is coming from a bass guitar, blues, rock, electric guitar player.
Well, thanks so much for sticking around, dude. I really do appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. Buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a very interesting ride. We're definitely going to take on a few more myths as we go and hopefully find some really cool instruments to play along the way.
Hey, Glenn, I've seen lately that your playing has improved a lot, and I want to give you a tip maybe. Kiko Lero has a video which he explains that he plays with his fretting hand very light and then has an exercise in which he'll play with his hand so light that he doesn't even press the string into the fret and then slowly starts pressing the string. It's amazing how little effort it takes to actually make a fretted note ring.
Hey, dude, you know what? That's fantastic advice. You know what? I think I might give that a shot. I've kind of been playing around with that a little bit, but I think I want to see this video to see how it's done. That sounds like a really neat idea because, yeah, I'm definitely exerting way too much force with this hand when it comes down to it. And if I'm ever going to speed, that sounds like a very cool exercise to start working with. So I do appreciate that. Just wish I had a link to that.
For those maniacs complaining about Glenn Fricker's brutal wisdom and honesty for the first time, why not then get them to subscribe to you? They need to learn the truth about not just from your present videos, but from past and future beyond, so you get 500,000 subs for Glenn for the sake of crop. Plus, I would recommend, if the tone is in the speaker, to do some analyzing physics behind the materials and properties of a guitar speaker on its own, such as cone material, the metals used around the magnets, the angle of the cone, etc., and give those visual learners more than a frequency spectrum to understand.
You know what? There's something to be said about that. I've been talking to Jensen. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to do something with them in the summer where we can talk about that sort of thing. I don't know. I've got a very interesting video coming up this month with Celestion where I did visit the Celestion factory, and we do talk a little bit about the construction of the speaker and what goes into it and that kind of thing. If you really want to step up your tone game, that's a video you're definitely not going to want to miss. Yes, frequency response graphs will get you so far. That's true, but actually knowing what makes a difference in the speakers, yeah, that's something that's kind of a dark art for a lot of guitar players. We just honestly don't know. You know, what's the difference between, say, like a regular ceramic magnet versus an Alnico other than weight? How's that going to affect the frequency response? I mean, like, how many guitar players could actually answer that question with a straight face and with real knowledge? I know I can't.
There's only one scientific way to test if you actually do sound like Tom Hanks. Just say, "Are you crying?" There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, a couple weeks back there, somebody said I sounded like Tom Hanks. Okay, here goes. Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball. I don't know. What do you guys think? Was that right? Did I hit that on the head? Who knows? Anyway, if so, yeah, maybe I can do some fucking voiceover or anime work. If somebody out there at Funimation or something needs a voice that sounds like Tom Hanks, hey, I'm for hire. I'd love to do voiceover for an anime. I think that'd be a lot of fun. All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. Make sure you watch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when my regular content comes out. I got a bunch of guitar reviews coming up this month. I think you guys are really going to like some good guitars, some not so good guitars, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, appreciate it if you guys would hit the subscribe button. That just helps the show out and all that good stuff. And until next time, remember, guys, let's make some great music together.